So guys, I just want to tell you a quick story. It's full moon tonight, and last night it was fairly full, and I don't know why, but I thought yesterday was Monday, so I went out to see the full moon. And it'd been quite hazy earlier on, even though there was amazing rings around the moon, and it was behind a lot of cloud. But anyway, by the time I went out there, 10 to midnight roughly, it was clear sky, beautiful. And Ruby was running around the park, and I've got this flashy light on her thing, so I can see where she is. Anyway, we're just leaving the park. She went up behind a bush, and then I didn't want her to run. I didn't want her to run out onto the road, so I just went, Rubes, come here. Anyway, this dog poked its head round the corner, and there I was looking at my Poppy, Ruby's mum, who died. I don't know how long ago now, but anyway, she died. It was very sad, and I've missed her really, really, really dreadfully missed her. Anyway, so this face came around the corner, and even though it is quite dark in that bit of the park, but because the moon was so bright, it was so weird, because there was my little Poppy, who's much stockier and shorter than Ruby, and got a way bigger, staffy, big face. Yes, I know, we're talking about your mum. This really, really big face. And I'm not joking, there she was. And I was looking at her, and she was the same colour, because Ruby's got a black bit on her head, but Poppy only had a dark brown ear. So anyway, there was this white face, much bigger, Staffordshire Bull Terrier, absolutely much squatter, tubby, she's not that she was tubby, but that was Poppy staring at me. And I went, oh my God, Poppy. And I was just like so shocked. I was thinking, oh my God, that's my dog. And as I said it, the vision of her, looking at her head slightly shrunk a bit, and she suddenly looked taller, and it was actually Ruby standing there. But for one split second, it had taken on Poppy. So anyway, that was quite extraordinary. And it just made me think, oh, my lovely girlie's still with me. And then I thought, I wonder if every time we go down the park, she's there walking with us. Oh, makes me sad. So tonight is the actual full moon. So I decided I was going to go out. So get ready. And sorry, actually, last night, just as I left, I haven't been making sure that the cat's in necessarily when I go, but I fed him. And as Ruby and I literally put our foot on the pavement across the road, just crossing the road, put our pavement, this thing shot into my view, boom, like that, like a crazy thing. And it was my cat. And he was like, meow, 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 meow. And it was quite funny because Ruby didn't even react. And he whizzed across there. I mean, he gave me a bit of a start. It wasn't a frightening, but he gave me a bit of a jump. Anyway, and then I realised, oh no, if I walk down the park, he's going to follow me. And then he might not come back. He'll find something he want to do. And he's not quite big enough. When he's another year old, I will do that. And I don't mind if he goes off and has some fun. But anyway, so he dashed out. So I went back and I put him back in. And then that happened, and saw the dog and everything. So tonight, I'm going down there. And normally, I don't see a single soul. Hardly ever see, maybe a couple of cars. I don't really see anybody walking along Pembury Road. And obviously I'm sensible, it's late at night, but I do have my dog with me. So I was crossing the road at the Pelican Crossing, and then I suddenly noticed a man in the shadows walking along the fence, who then turned into a block of flats that have been built. So as we passed, I was just going like that to Ruby, and we stopped where he'd gone round the corner, and she sort of like looked around and sort of went forward as if to say, who's there? So I just thought I'd just make it known I'm with the dog, and I'm safe. Not that I'm scared. I'm not scared. Anyway, I carried on walking. And as I kept walking all around, I just had this funny feeling. And I thought, don't go in the park tonight. Don't go in the park. So I stood by the sign up the road, and I just looked at the moon there and took in enough. And I thought, no, I'm going to go back. And I felt a bit bad because Ruby would have liked to have a bit of a run round. But anyway, I thought, no, I'm going to walk back. So I across the road back onto my side of the road. And as I'm walking down, I then see a man just coming to the corner of the end of the road where I live, and he's walking towards me. And then it's always a bit awkward late at night because I'm not a rude person. If I walk past somebody, I'm going to say hello or whatever. And then you don't want to be seen as if you're being overly friendly and asking for, you know what I mean? So anyway, years ago, because when Poppy was alive, if that had happened now, I would just go to Poppy like that, and she'd take on one of those staffy stances of like, yeah, I'm ready in case I need to be, just to warn people. So I'm making a little noise to Ruby, and of course Ruby does exactly the opposite. She sees a man coming towards her, so her tail's wagging, and she's already trying to run up to him. And I was thinking, this is fucking typical, isn't it? Late at night, and she's not guarding me. She's pulling me into the path of this man. So anyway, as he gets nearly parallel to me, I said, oh, Ruby, and he could see she was wagging his hand. He said, oh, I don't mind. He said, I really like dogs. So anyway, she jumped up and had a little stroke with her and everything, and said hello to her. And I said, something like, oh, she's she should be growling at you, not wagging your tail. I said she likes everybody. And he said, oh, I like dogs. And then he said these words. He said, you've got to show someone if you need attention. If you need attention, you've got to show it. And I said, yeah, you do. And I said, have a lovely good evening. And anyway, we parted and he walked on and I walked on. As I came around there, I thought, I see, when we think the student is ready and the teacher's going to come, we think it's going to be some like bombastic, big, hello thing. No. It's the strangers that we meet. We're all messengers. We are all messengers. And we might, when you say something to somebody, you think, oh, I don't even know where that came from. Or maybe you get the thought to say, oh, you look really beautiful today. Well, say it. Say it. Yes, because that's our greatest fault. We have forgot to ask for attention. And so we create all these dramas and big tension scenes because we need to be seen, or we need to be known. We need to feel that we're needed, whatever it is. That man has never spoke to greater truth. I'm so glad Ruby went up to him, because he gave me a message, and the message is, if you need attention, you need to show it. You need to tell someone. So ask for what you need. Don't expect your husband to just know what you need. Tell him what you need. And then wait and see if you get it. Yeah? The same as men. If you don't understand ask her. Say, look, we're very different. I come from a different planet, literally, than you. You need to explain. Yeah? What is it that you need from me? If we actually ask, we could then give the people that we love the things that they actually need. Yeah, and instead of allowing it to get to a drama situation where it all gets out of hand because that's the only, we're screaming, I need a hug. But why are you not saying I need a hug? Put our pride away. Ask for what you need. If you're hungry, ask to be fed. If you're lacking in love, ask to be loved. Yeah? The human beings out there will respond to that immensely. So, just remember that anyone can be a messenger, and to really listen to what people are saying, because somewhere in there is a message for you if you're on the right frequency to pick it up. So it is an amazing full moon tonight. It's very cold. There's a frost, of course. It's first wolf moon. And no wonder Ruby's been on a hot tin roof tonight. She's been in and out, barking in the garden. At phantoms or at demons or at UFOs. What is she barking at? She's barking at something. And it's not the birds and the squirrels, this time of night in the dark. I don't believe. So everybody take care, lots of love, and think about what you need and then ask for it. I remember ages ago when I was feeling really, really upset and I was relaying something to my neighbour and I just felt so distraught. And I just said, oh, can I have a hug? And I felt really embarrassed to ask, but I did it because that's what I really needed. I knew if I turned in and went back in, I was going to really, really, really sob and have a shitty day. And she's totally said, oh, of course, and gave me a lovely hug. And in that hug, I know that she received something, and so did I. Yeah, because I asked for it, asking for it. She gave it to me, and then that releases something for both of you. That is a symbiotic process. That's the wheel. That's how this transcends, this whole figure of eight, this eternity, yeah? If we all forgive two people freely and willingly, you're actually forgiving everything that's come before. Because there isn't one of us alive now whose family haven't done atrocities. None of us. None of us who are here now have a family that have not committed atrocities. Whether that was in the wars, and I'm talking about ancient, how long have we even been here? Our the Knights of the Round Table coming about. What is going on? Because something's changing immensely. And you've got to realise that every action has a reaction. And that's important to know. And we really need to be careful what you say to people. Do not wish them harm. Wish everyone goodness. Stop saying goodbye. Go and buy something. Programming. Don't say goodbye. Go fare thee well. Farewell, my friend. Safe journeys. Safe passage. Where are these lovely old sayings? Good morning. We don't want to be in mourning. Don't want to get up and feel we're all in mourning. Yeah? You know, maybe we're just saying, arise, arise, have a lovely day. It's not hard. Be nice to your neighbours. If you haven't got a pet, get one. Yeah, you'll learn a lot. You know, and who's to say our pets aren't our relatives reincarnated, come back to quelch the karma between us. You know, people think I'm potty anyway. I'm convinced that my cat's an ex-boyfriend of mine, and I'm convinced Poppy was my granny, and I'm convinced Ruby is my dead mum, which is why our relationship is really hard work. But we're getting there. Getting there far better in this relationship way than it was when we were both human. And if I alleviate this karma, then my mother might come back. And my grandmother. And other people that we've lost. Because we've got to alleviate the past. Yeah, and realise that in the right way, we didn't need history. We didn't need to read and write. Because we talked to each other and we sang to each other and we danced and we sat round fires. And we passed the tradition of the truths of our tribes through verbal, through dancing and from telling stories. Listen to the riddles. Listen to the riddles. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. That's the answer to everything. At the moment, we are in the Great Flood. And each of us is a Noah's Ark. Because we do all know the truth. But we're at different levels of remembering the truth. Are you a Noah? Yes, I am a Noah. Yeah. A lot of people say, oh, yeah, she thinks she's a right know-it-all. You know what I mean. It's not in that regards. We are the Ark, each and every one, carrying all our 2x2 animals on board. And we can either get our boat rocked out of the waters by other people's boats who are crashing around and nearly going into all the rocks because they're in a panic, because they're in fear. As soon as you step out of fear, your boat's on calm, level water. And I've been thinking about this lately. Is that what's wrong with the world? Yeah, the tides. Because if the moon wasn't there, yeah, we no longer, all waters would be calm, would be one level, and then it would all make sense. And then would all that water turn to salt water, or would all the water turn to fresh water? What would happen? Or are we on a great round table on 4 legs, just like a table, and we're rising up, and there won't be any water? There won't be any water except a big moat around us. And all the land will come together, and we'll actually realise that we're actually all on one island. We are united. Yeah. And what's been wrong is they've convinced us that we are the untied states. States, in a mind state. Yes? There's way more states in America than 52. If you add everyone else. Yeah? Because that is the new world. That is 5D. We're just on one massive island. You don't need a passport for anything. You don't need any boundaries. Yeah? You just have little wards and little villages, and they take care of themselves. And then whenever they need something, they go to the people that have got the money and they say, oh, we need a new road built. We've got 4 guys that want to do it. There's 2 homeless guys that are going to help. We just need the ingredients. Yeah? And they go and borrow the equipment and they mend their own road. And then they've learned something. You know? We could all be dustmen. Yeah, we could all be dustmen and refuge people. Yeah? We could all be carers for our neighbours. We could all be Meals on Wheels. We could all be healers and help everybody out. That's what it's all about. That's where we're going. That's what the greater understanding. We didn't come from the Garden of Eden. We came from the danger of need. And that's what's wrong with all of us. We think we need all these external things outside of ourselves to help us on our way. And we need nothing. We came in with nothing, you go out with nothing. But actually, if you lived in the middle bit with nothing, then you'd really be a decent, wonderful human being. Because all of this mind clutter Yeah, all of this stuff that's got on top of us and, you know, can't live without it. Well, you know, if you die tomorrow, do you really want to take your three-piece suite with you? Do you really? You know, what is our need in this life? Why don't we make our own tea and coffee mug and a teapot and a nice bowl to eat out and whittle a really lovely wooden spoon? And then when you go around to visit people, you take your own utensils because you've made them. They don't have to do the washing up. Yeah? You know, how easy is that? How easy is that? You know, have you got a decent axe? Have you got all these things that you need to survive? And we don't need much. You don't have to go and live in a field to be off grid. You don't have to go and buy a wood to be off grid. You can be off grid in a council flat. Yeah? I mean, yeah. You know, this is why they keep knocking down all these council properties and building more, because there's too many bits of space of land. There's some of the houses up there got the biggest gardens I've ever seen. You could bloody have a horse on there and an allotment and a garden. And why? Because they were all built when? In the late 40s, early 50s, after the war. And what did we all still know how to do after the war? Is we still knew how to have a little homestead. And we all did. We all kept chickens. Didn't go to a farmer to get your eggs. And if you had too many eggs, you gave the leftover eggs to the person next door. Or a treat to your dog, or a treat to your cat. Yeah? We didn't eat cows. We just have a big couple of goats that a couple of families would share. Take it in turns. 1 week you're on milking. You see what I mean? It's so easy. If we all just share and look out for each other, that's all we've got to do. You know, the pavement out here is terrible by the bus stop, right? I've moaned about it. I don't even know how many times to the council. Well, actually, why don't I find a couple of lads, get a couple of bags of sands, and why don't we lift up the flagstones and reset them ourselves? What does that then prove? I don't need my council. What does that then prove? Why should I pay council tax if I'm prepared to make sure that the old ladies and the young people in my street don't fall over when they get the bus? Even my poor neighbour, she was getting married. They had to postpone once or twice because of COVID. And then I think about 10 days a week before she got married, she was walking up the road and she tripped. And she said she wouldn't have minded if she'd been on her phone. And she said, I wasn't even on my phone. She tripped on that flagstone and smashed all her face up. And that poor girl had a messed up face for her wedding. Luckily, they managed to cover it enough with makeup. But to know that on the day that you're supposed to be your most beautiful, because someone can't be asked to come and mend a bloody flagstone. Yeah? That could kill somebody. Who's going to pay the liability on that? But then maybe if we all cared about the 50 yards outside of where we lived, we would have a huge impact on the world. It's just one drop. One just drop in still water sends out a huge ripple. It's a resonance. It's sound. It's sound wave. It goes on and on and on and on and on. So look at what you're putting out there. Look at the waves that you are sending. Are you saying, hello, I'm friendly? Do you remember when we used to hold our flags up to show whether we came in peace or not? You know? Back in the day, we used to light fires on hills to send messages. We used to use pigeons. And before that, we used to use telepathy. But you've just forgotten how to ring your bell. Because are you a son of Cain or are you a son of Abel? If you're son of Cain, it's all I can do anything I want. But if you're a son of Abel, you ring and resonate. And all you're trying to do is enable yourself and others. Yeah? I know which side of the family I want to be on. So ding, 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 ding. All you bells out there, get a ring-a-ling-a-linging. And remember who you really are. Remember who you really are. God bless. No. God, no. Bless. Be less. No, I'm not telling you to be less. I'm telling you all to be more. Be more than you are. You've got it in you. Be more. When I called myself Moreland, which is a family name, why did I do that? That was a breadcrumb again to tell me there is more land. There is more land. And the land belongs to the people. And you used to stick your stake in. And that was your quarter acre. And everybody should do that. you should go out, put your stake in the ground, your grounding rod, and take your 1/4 acre and do whatever you want with it. Because a man's home is his castle. And we have sadly forgotten to be the kings and the queens. That's where we've made our mistake. We handed over our sovereignty to somebody else to rule us. You rule yourself. You know when you do wrong. Yeah, be your own inner compass and know. And don't trespass. Don't 3 passes on people. Yeah, because then that's a spell. And you'll get it back 10-fold. So don't wish anyone unwell. Wish everybody well. Yeah? Wish everybody well. So, go out and be more